There was a time when reality and magic danced closely together, hidden in the shadows of the world. At the heart of this secretive realm stood the mysterious arcane library, an impossible place built at the edge of time and space. At the very center of the library, guarded by 1,000 ancient wards, lay a single floating book known only as the Book of Shadows. For centuries, no one dared approach the book. Legends warned that the Book of Shadows held the blueprints of entire universes, secrets of lost civilizations, and weapons capable of collapsing stars. That is, until Reyna arrived. Reyna was not an ordinary girl. With keen ice-blue eyes and hair like raven's feathers, she had lived her 16 years on the run, never lingering anywhere for too long. Magic burned in Reyna's veins, an unpredictable gift that she'd learned to wield with discipline and creativity. And a secretive order known only as the Collective had marked her for her powers. She found the arcane library one stormy night, drawn by whispers only she could hear. Thunder rolled outside as she wandered between ancient shelves, tracing her fingers across leather-bound tomes and glass tablets that shimmered with untold knowledge. The whispers grew louder near the center, and there, floating above an obsidian pedestal, waited the Book of Shadows. Just as Reyna reached for it, the great hall of mirrors at the library's entrance exploded in a burst of icy blue energy. 3 masked figures in silver cloaks materialized, their faces obscured behind shifting holographic masks. "You mustn't touch that book," called the tallest, their voice echoing with metallic distortion. Reyna stepped back, her heart racing, but kept her hand hovering over the tome. "Who are you?" she demanded, raising her left palm. Smooth lines glowed beneath her skin, swirling into the sigil of a protective barrier. "We are the custodians," the second figure replied, a ripple of static in their voice. "No one, not even a sorceress like you, can control what lies within those pages." Before Reyna could respond, the Book of Shadows flickered, its pages turning by themselves, releasing a sudden wind that lifted dust and loose parchment around the room. Words unspooled from the book, glowing in the air: "Protect me, or darkness will swallow all." A surge of knowledge hit Reyna's mind. In a flash, she saw towers collapsing on alien planets, cities dissolving into digital ash, creatures of shadow clawing through portals between worlds. She saw herself, over and over again, fighting to hold the book safe. She gasped, nearly collapsing from the onslaught of visions. The custodians attacked, weaving spells of chained lightning and razor-edged shadows. Reyna reacted instinctively, her own magic exploding in a sphere of blue fire that shattered the nearest bookshelf and hurled one of the attackers through a stained glass window. The fight raged on, magic colliding with technology as the library trembled under the strain. Reyna struggled to keep the book suspended in the air, even as her shield cracked from concentrated psychic blasts. In a final desperate move, Reyna whispered the incantation etched in the air, "Sanctum Ambrosa Libera Me," and the Book of Shadows wrapped itself and Reyna in a cocoon of silvery light. When the light faded, Reyna found herself torn from the library and transported to an unfamiliar world, an endless forest where moonlight bled through black branches and alien creatures watched with hundreds of glassy eyes. She clutched the Book of Shadows, its weight oddly comforting against her chest, as its whispers faded to a single chilling word: begin. The true adventure, the battle for reality itself, had only just begun. Reyna stood motionless beneath a sky neither night nor day, clutching the Book of Shadows to her chest. The forest wasn't as empty as it first appeared. Whispering winds carried strange, metallic scents, and shadows moved with intention, slinking between gnarled trees with bark as black as obsidian. She took a hesitant step forward, her boots crunching over blue-glowing moss. Every sound echoed unnaturally long, bouncing between twisted trunks and vanishing into snarled undergrowth. Reyna's mind raced. Was she truly alone? What world had the book thrown her into? "Stay alert," murmured a voice that was both inside her mind and echoing from the book. "Not all that lives in the silent forest is alive." Reyna swallowed hard, remembering the visions: cities devoured by shadow, worlds erased by cosmic storms. She summoned a faint orb of blue light from her fingertips, illuminating the ground ahead just as a set of tiny, reflective eyes glittered from the brush. Reyna braced herself, but instead of a monster, a tiny, mechanical fox emerged, its metallic fur glinting with circuit-like patterns. "Who are you?" Reyna asked softly, lowering her guard. The fox tilted its head, emitted a whir, and projected a flickering hologram. A map appeared in midair, with a blinking blue dot, her current location. Behind the dot, on the edge of the forest, stood the shimmering image of a broken gateway, and beyond it, a sprawling futuristic city swallowed by thick fog. "Help me." Reyna tried, uncertain. The fox's tail flickered, sending a pulse of blue light into the trees. The shadows stirred. Inhuman voices murmured. Without warning, a low growl split the silence, and something huge rushed from the darkness. Reyna spun, conjuring a shield of energy just as a shadowy beast crashed against it, an enormous, wolf-like creature without a face, only a gaping void where its eyes should be. The Book of Shadows shuddered in her hands, heavy as stone. Words scrawled across its surface: "Trust the Guardian. Run to the gate." The mechanical fox darted away on flashing paws. Reyna chased after, dodging grasping branches and ducking beneath sheets of mist. The shadow beast thundered behind her, smashing trees, shrieking with a sound like broken circuits and dying stars. At the edge of the forest, the gateway, twisted metal and fractal energy, loomed before her. She hesitated as the book pulsed with heat. "Now," the voice insisted. Drawing all her magic into a glowing sphere, Reyna hurled an explosive blast at the encroaching monster. The beast shrieked, fragments of its darkness splattering across the trees, as the fox hurled itself into the gateway. Reyna followed, clutching the book, shivering as the portal tore her apart and pulled her back together again. In another place, another fear. She landed, gasping, in a city of glass towers and burning neon. Alarms blared, holographic news feeds flashed warnings of shadow incursions. Rain sparkled in every color as people in masks hurried past, ignoring Reyna and her strange guardian. As the Book of Shadows fell silent, Reyna turned to the metallic fox, her only friend in a world on the brink. Somewhere out there, the custodians were searching for her. The shadow creatures wouldn't stop. And the book's secrets were still locked, their dangers yet unknown. But Reyna was determined. Whatever mysteries or terrors lay ahead, she would uncover the truth, and protect the book at any cost. The rain in the strange city hissed on the still glowing Book of Shadows, running in impossible colors down deserted walkways. Reyna pulled her cloak tighter, her eyes darting from every shadow, each puddle reflected a shivering world, as if reality itself could break at any moment. The mechanical fox padded at her side, its body rippling with packets of static like broken data. It paused before a towering wall lined with screens projecting warnings: shadow breach, all citizens to shelter. Above, drones flew in dogged formations, searching the crowds for anything out of the ordinary. Reyna whispered, "Where are we?" But only silence replied. She opened the book, hoping for answers. It glowed, its pages flipping with uncanny will, landing on a map, this city, riddled with red fractures like wounds. A gentle voice echoed inside her skull. "The fracture is spreading. The shadows slip through. Find the anomaly. Trust the fox." As if hearing the instructions, the fox darted into a twisting alley pulsing with neon lights and the hiss of distant machines. Reyna followed, passing a wall adorned with digital graffiti. "Reality is a simulation. Save us, mage." The alley ended at an elevator guarded by a holographic figure, face blurry and unreadable. It scanned Reyna, pausing when it noticed the book. A strange, metallic kindness entered its tone. "You have been seen in the visions. The anomaly waits for the protector." Before she could answer, the elevator's doors slid open. Reyna and the fox stepped inside and began to descend. Far deeper than any building should go, past levels etched with strange glyphs and languages she'd never seen, until the air began to thrum with cold blue energy. When the doors finally opened, they entered a vast underground chamber filled with thousands of mirrors, each reflecting a different world: ancient forests, war-torn planets, worlds where science and magic blurred into one. In the center hovered a figure in a cloak of wires and stars, eyes glowing like twin moons. "You must not open the book," the anomaly whispered, voice layered with infinite echoes. "I don't want to," Reyna confessed, stepping closer, "but they keep coming. Shadows. The custodians." Each mirror began to tremble, some showing the wolf thing from the forest, others the masked pursuers from the library. "Why me? Why is it calling me?" The anomaly's hand drifted toward the book. "Because you can rewrite the story, Reyna. You are a variable they cannot predict. But you are also a bridge, where magic and science, chaos and order meet. Suddenly, alarms blared. In the mirrors, shadow beasts poured into a dozen realities at once. The book seethed with uncontainable power. They're here. Reyna cried. You have to decide, Reyna, the anomaly urged. Will you entrust your mind to the book and bind the shadows, or will you fight them with your own will? The fox whined, circling her feet. Reyna's hand trembled atop the cover. Could she trust the voices? Did she have enough power alone? Would she risk her soul unlocking what lay inside? As the shadows surged into the chamber, Reyna made her choice. Reyna's heart thudded in her chest as the mirrors began to crack, each fracture leaking thick, inky shadows into the chamber. Around her, the guardian fox bristled, its metallic fur standing on end, circuits gleaming with alarm. The anomaly's robe of stars flickered, 100 realities winking in and out with every tremor. She forced herself to breathe and lifted the book, feeling its heat pulse into her palms. Trust yourself, Reyna. You are the variable, the anomaly's voice echoed, both urgent and kind. Behind her, the fox let out a digital growl as shadowy tendrils slithered across the floor, seeking to bind her feet. In a surge of sudden courage, Reyna pressed her hand to the book's cover, whispering, I choose my will. I choose to fight. Power exploded outward, blue fire swirling around her as shadow and light collided. The first shadow beast lunged, jaws splitting into a horrific spiral, but Reyna caught it with a shield of energy, splintering its essence into sparks. More spilled through, some monstrous and bestial, others eerily humanoid, faces blank and eyes burning silver. Reyna pressed forward, drawing magical lines in the air, her spells weaving circuits and sigils into potent defenses. The anomaly joined her, flinging bolts of quantum energy at the shadows, its form distorting with every blow. Yet the mirror cracks widened, each pulse threatening to collapse the boundary between worlds. Suddenly, one shadow taller, crowned in writhing smoke, stepped forth, clutching a tattered page torn from Reyna's book. Its whisper chilled the chamber. The story can be ended, girl. We need only snuff out the last page. Reyna stared, realization piercing her panic. The book was incomplete. The shadows sought its final page to end everything, to overwrite the worlds with oblivion. No. Reyna roared. She focused, calling every scrap of will and memory, running through the library's halls, racing across the alien forest, finding hope in the city of glass. With the fox and anomaly at her side, she extended her hands over the book, letting it feed not only on her magic, but on something more powerful, her determination, her story. Mirrors blazed with light. The Shadow King howled as the fox leaped through reflection and fire, snatching the final page from its claws. Reyna slammed the page into the book. For a heartbeat, all was silent. Then, a storm of stories erupted. Every mirror exploded with possibilities, rainbows of past and future. The shadows shriveled, pulled into the book's binding light. The anomaly, eyes shining with relief, stabilized the chamber with a final surge of energy. Breathing hard, Reyna stared as the book, now complete, glowed with calm, steady radiance. The forest, city, and mirrors faded, forming a new world, a garden under endless stars. But the anomaly's voice trailed in warning. The book is still unfinished, Reyna. The custodians are not defeated, and neither is the darkness. You have won a battle, not the war. The fox circled her, hopeful but wary. Reyna looked skyward, at universes shimmering just out of reach, at the book's cover still etched with unreadable glyphs. There would be no rest. The greatest test was yet to come. Reyna walked through the starlit garden, every step echoing with the knowledge that this world, so calm, so unreal, was only a fragile boundary between hope and oblivion. The Book of Shadows floated beside her, pages now whole, pulsing gently as if it were alive, breathing with all the stories it now contained. The guardian fox stayed close, eyes glowing gold as it padded ahead, alert to every whisper in the wind. The anomaly appeared at her side, form flickering and transparent, its voice now gentle, yet edged with urgency. The custodians come, Reyna. This is the last crossing. Everything you are, everything you've learned matters now. The sky above fractured with lightning as 3 great portals split the darkness. From them, the custodians emerged, taller, more monstrous, no longer hiding behind cloaks and illusory faces. Their bodies flowed with alien tech and old magic. Their eyes were windows into lost universes. Behind them, the shadows writhed hungry and watching. "Return the book, girl," boomed the first custodian, each word shaking the stars themselves. "Some stories are too dangerous to live. Restore the boundary. Let order return." Reyna drew magic to her hands, defiant. "Stories are hope. Knowledge is freedom. I won't let you erase them, and I won't let darkness decide the fate of every world." In reply, the custodians unleashed force, a maelstrom of logic and entropy, equations that could bind reality, hissing storms of dark matter, shards of time itself flung at Reyna. She lifted the book, desperate, letting every lesson and fear and hope surge out of her soul. Lightning forked. The fox raced into the fray, circuits blazing, fighting shadow with light and cleverness. The anomaly anchored the shifting reality, weaving quantum barriers to hold the garden together, whispering tips and encouragement in Reyna's mind. "I am more than magic," Reyna shouted, sending waves of energy to meet the custodians' attacks. "I am every story in this book, all the lives saved and lost, all the battles and mysteries and dreams." The book opened, swirling with infinite pages. The sky and earth trembled. Every world and every reality Reyna had seen, forests, cities, shattered mirrors, appeared as if on a stage behind her, bearing silent witness. The custodians pressed harder. Shadow began to seep in from the edges of the world. In the storm, Reyna realized the answer was not to fight with destruction, but with unity. She drew on the book, offering her own memories freely, not forcing magic but opening herself and inviting every life, every story to add their strength. The book blazed in her hands, and from every corner of the multiverse, courage flowed into her. The custodians faltered. One by one, the universes they sought to erase now joined Reyna's defense. Rays of hope, perseverance, and imagination pushing back the void. The fox howled triumphantly. The shadows hissed and broke apart, vanishing like a bad dream. Reyna knelt, exhausted but undefeated. The Book of Shadows spun gently above her, glowing with a new symbol, a bridge of light, connecting every world. The anomaly's eyes shimmered with pride and something like relief. "You are the paradox, Reyna. Protector and storyteller. The chapters go on, but the darkness will always fear your light." The custodians, defeated, faded back through the shattered portals. For now, mystery and magic, science and hope, remained in balance. Reyna stood in the garden of stories, the book steadied in her grasp, and looked toward endless futures. Not with fear, but with wonder, ready to write the next adventure with her own hand.